Hi, I'm Peggy, your crypto gal, but I'm also here to talk to you about things that are going on globally because it's better known as global pegs. I love being able to share with you guys anything that comes about, and today sticks out a lot that's out there: stocks, stock market, capital gains, IPOs. Yeah, all these infringement words that a lot of people don't know, don't even know how to read a stock market analysis, don't even know how to read a balance sheet, don't even know how to invest in it, don't even think you qualify to. Guess what? Every freaking person can do it. Okay. So do not sell yourself short on that. It's just what you want to do and the direction you're going to take. All right. So let's get started. So before I go anywhere into this, I want to be able to share with you guys what it is. Stock, also known as capital stock. Okay. These are shares. Okay. And shares are, it's used as like a mutual fund, a limited partnership, real estate, investment trust. These capital gains or capital stocks referred to as shares are on an enterprise. Okay. The owner of the share, let's use the example of Elon Musk because he's in the damn news every day, is one that can build on this company as a shareholder into that corporation. So if Elon Musk put himself out there for Tesla, okay, you want to get involved in Tesla, you want to buy into that. He's going to tell you what the value of that share is in the stocks, okay? This is in which the ownership of a corporation is divided. So you got to think about all the people that are jumping on board with that also, okay? As they call it in the American English, the shares are collectively known as a stock, and this is where it comes renown in. A single share of stock represents a fractional ownership of the corporation in proportion to the total number of shares, okay? So if he's going to put out there, let's say 10 billion shares, like Bitcoin has, 11 billion Bitcoins, okay? And you want to buy into that share. How many of those shares do you want to buy into from that total number of shares? Okay. And back then, Elon Musk was like 43 bucks, and a lot of people were jumping on board with that, where you could buy equally, 100 shares, right? If you had the money for it. Typically now, the entitles that the stockholder to the fraction of the company's earnings proceeds from liquidation of the asset after the discharge of a senior claim, such as a secured or an unsecured debt, or the voting power, because you have to remember, you don't own all of those. You own a share of that particular stock. So the board that is driving that ownership of that particular corporation is the one that has the voting power, often dividing these up in proportions to the amount of money each stockholder has invested. So if you invested, this make it simple, 100 bucks, what's the growth differential that you've been watching on the balance sheet for your 100 bucks, which will tag into your bank account, showing this, as well as you being able to watch it out on the market. Okay. Not all stock is necessarily equal, as certain classes of stock may be issued, for an example, without any voting rights. Okay. With enhanced voting rights. You got to pay attention to these and read what we call the fine print. You also have a certain priority to receive profits or liquidation proceeds before or after other classes of the shareholders. So sometimes a corporation or that particular company will do a payout, kind of like a construction loan. They're going to quarterly pay for this quarter of the money given to you. This work has to be done. In this quarter, this work has to be done, and you get paid, and then you give the dividends out to what accordingly to those investors that were invested in it. If I did 8%, or another person did 20%, or another person did 2%, or another person did 70%, and that equals 100% of that first quarter. Now, the stock can be bought and sold privately or on stock exchanges, and such transactions are typically heavily regulated by governments. the SEC in the United States to prevent fraud. Okay. Protect investors and benefit larger economies. The stocks are deposited with depositories in the electronic format, as also known as the demat account. New shares are issued by a company. The ownership and the rights of the existing shareholders are diluted in return for cash to sustain or grow the business. Companies can also buy back stock, okay, which often lets investors recoup the initial investment plus a capital gain. You guys ask me a lot in regards to capital gain. It's an economic concept that is defined as the profit earned on the sale of an asset which has increased in value over the holding period. An asset may include tangible property, a car, a business, or intangible property such as shares. So be careful when you're looking out there. This goes on and on, but this is a good start for you guys to just have the basics of understanding the knowledge of stocks and where its location is. And the reason why I say that is because today the Dow was back up at 200 points as it attempts to rebound from a huge sell-off. This huge sell-off came that the U.S. stocks continued their climb on Tuesday morning earlier today, bought the dip at a bit following the S&P 500's worst day since May. Gains were kept in check as investors awaited the end of the Federal Reserve's two-day meeting, which kicked off today. Oh, Lord, help us. I can't wait to be able to hear what the designation of this is. The Dow Jones, which is the DJ, average rose 220 points. The S&P 500 gained 0.5%, and the NASDAQ composite added to it with a 0.8%. Asian markets were stable overnight. That's right. I got up again to be able to pay attention to that, helping sentiment in the U.S. after fears grew from Monday afternoon that the liquidity crisis at Chinese developer Evergrande would lead to a global contagion. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index rose 0.5% after dropping more than 3% on Monday. So Monday morning when I woke up and all my alarms are going off with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, this is where I was talking about with crypto, is saying the market was making a drastic change. Okay, this is that volatility I was telling you guys about and where its standards are. Now, today, the S&P 500 slid 1.7% for its worst day since May the 12th. The DJ industrial average plummeted 614 points, or 1.8%, for its biggest one drop since July the 19th, and the NASDAQ composite shed itself of 2.2%. Now, I ask this of you guys. This was going into this morning, okay? One of the big moves that plummeted out there in the stock markets, stocks making the biggest moves in this pre-market, was Uber, J&J, which is Johnson & Johnson, that's the one-shotter in the arm, Apple, and a few others. Now, what I mean by that is that Uber shares rose 5.7% in the pre-market after the ride-sharing the company revised its financials outlook higher than its third period. The company now expects to report $22.8 billion and $23.2 billion in gross bookings for the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter, which is just a few weeks away. This is according to the balance sheets of the SEC filing. It previously forecasted itself of only $22 billion to $24 billion on its second quarter earnings call. J&J, Johnson & Johnson, share gains 0.8% early in the morning, trading after its pharmaceutical company said that the COVID-19 booster shot is 94% effective. So now they're saying we have to get these booster shots after we already got, if you got the J&J, now you got to go back and get a booster shot when administered 2 months after the first dose in the U.S. The company said the booster increases the antibody levels 4 to 6 times higher than just one shot. Okay, well, what about those that got the shot when it first came out, and you're saying that this is a distribution for that? The booster shot doesn't work then? Okay, these are different things, but that's a whole different level. I'm not going to go there right now. I don't even want to discuss vaccinations. It gets me so irritated. All right, so that's a good call. We could always do a huge Zoom interview on that to be able to get people to call in and put in their 2 cents worth in regards to that. I would love doing that. Okay, that's one that I'm going to work on. Let me make sure I mark it on that. Tag that for us, okay? Okay, Apple. Shares of Apple ticked up 0.9% in the pre-market after the Wall Street Journal report that the technology company is working on the iPhone features to help identify depression and negative decline. Sorry, guys. I need a beer. The features would use sensor data to help detect these health issues, the journal said, citing that people familiar with the matter. Chevron, CVX, and ExxonMobil, XOM, the oil stocks rebounded in the pre-market as crude prices rose. Chevron and ExxonMobil each gained more than 1% in the pre-market. The stocks were hit during Monday's sell-off as concerns about the global economic growth sent oil to a lower plummet. As well as I've been going over with you guys on energy efficiency, according to the G20, Enphase Energy shares rose 1.8% in the early morning hours, trading after KeyBank initiated coverage of the stock with an overweight rating. I'm having a big speech problem today. The firm said that the solar energy play had a solid base business and growing opportunities. So you can see where this inlays with different performances and where the growth spout is of making sure that it is developed. Going into the afternoon of today at the almost close, turnaround Tuesday turned out to be a dud for equities. The major indexes ended mostly lower after attempting an early bounce from the previous session's rout. The DJ Industrial, which is the DJIA, a negative 15%, fell around 48 points, or the 0.1% to end near 33,922 after rising more than 340 points at its session high. The S&P 500, the SPX, negative 0.08%, closed around 4 points lower, off 0.1% near 4,354, while the NASDAQ Composite, COMP, 0.22%, held onto its gain of around 32 points, or 0.2%, with a finish near 14,746. Yes, this is another interesting factor that had come about looking into the morning hours of the European stock. And when you look at it in the European stock, that goes into the afternoon into the United States. Stocks rebounded in Europe today following the biggest one day drop since mid-July, with Universal Music Group soaring in its debut, and the pharmaceuticals, energy and apparel and footwear among big contributing sectors. Yep, that's right. The Stokes Europe 600 Index, which is the SXXP, rose 1% to 458.99, bucking 2 days of losses, and a 1.7% tumble on Monday when global markets reeled from worries about contagion. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so sorry. Contagion from troubled property group China Evergrande, HK, Hong Kong 3333. The German DAX, the DAX, and the French CAC 40, which is the PX1, rose 1.4% in each one of them. And the FTSE, which is known as the FTSE 100 index, that's the UKX, added up to 1%. Those gains came as Wall Street stocks DJI, that's the Dow Jones, and the SPX, and the composite COMP bounced back from its deep losses with the previous day. Monday took a huge hit around the factors of the globe. And it also gave a lesson of those that are always interested in looking into the markets. Now, you guys, I'm glad you're staying with me and bearing with me in regards to this. It's not something that I'm equivalency of being able to share with you guys, but I think it's important for those people to understand. Just one more thing to add to your read and research. Now, I get on Market Watch. I have several alerts. This is why I'm single, because nobody's going to want to be my partner in life. I can tell you that, because it's just an alert one after the other, and I'm constantly checking it. But anyways, that's good on with my personal life and later. Okay, the Dow, here we are looking at it. What I just shared with you guys a negative 50.63 at close. The S&P 500. The Dow is your DJIA. The S&P 500, your SPX. It's negative 3.54. The NASDAQ Composite, which is the COMP, it's up 32.49. I just went over these numbers with you. From a global Dow perspective, it's down 48. The gold, you can see, is up, which made a transition. And usually this happens. So when the markets are crashing and burning and sucking up the funds of monies, this is where it lays to show that gold does a complete rise. It does a complete flip. It shows that more and more people are in tune to this. Crude oil stays with its high of $70.51 a barrel, with its ending number of close of business today out there at 0.22. Now, is this bad? It's not that it's bad. It's that something that you need to be paying attention to. Going further into this, what I just described to you in Europe, looking at it, the FTSE 100, you can see up 77.07. The DAX, which is the Germany, is 216. The French CAC 40 is 96.2. And the FTSE MIB 305. The Stokes 600 in Germany up 4.56. These are definitely markets that are graduating in a scale that Europe went to bed with a nice visual of their financial institutions. Asia, which will be waking up in the next 6 hours, finishing out their night call, their Asia Dow, which is comparison of our DJ, is down 19.8. The Nikkei, which I closely watch because there's a lot of transitions of our stocks from collaborations with the Chinese markets as well over there, deciphering into purchases of different shares in companies, okay? So 660 in a negative field. The Hang Seng is 122 up, Shanghai 6.87, Sensex the 514, and Singapore up 21.47. So as you can see, as Europe went to bed, and now, well, not to bed, Europe, they're closed, but they're still up, they're just finishing out their evening. But then you've got Asia, who is in bed, and they'll be up in about 6 hours. You can see that this is a huge change factor that will play into it, because we went into a negative, it has to make full swing. So what they invested in today when they went to bed will be a negative for them tomorrow, depending on where this lays in their market values. I mean, I can go on and on to be able to share with you guys what it's doing. Here's the money factors, the FXs. The euro is down, and you can see negative 0.0004. The yen, negative 0.20. The British pound, 0.0003 up, which is only like 0.02%. The Australian dollar, 18 down. The DXY index 6, and they, guys, the US dollar, and of course the feds are in this huge meeting for the next couple of days, and the US dollar has crashed itself. So this does play into factors as to what else is happening with this money values. This is their fiat currencies. Our fiat currency is the USD. And this shows that they are playing into these factors of where they are outlining with the value of the US dollar, because the US dollar is not living up to its valued standard. And the more that Powell jacks with this in the feds, and you can see I've moved over into these rates of the 10 years of the yields. You can see that the US 10-year yield is still holding itself as an up value. Germany's 10-year is up, Italy is down, Spain is down, and that's because of travel and COVID over there, I know for factors. UK is up. They've got all the gold in the UK. Japan is down, they're asleep. So looking at those for future gains, it creates a lot into the market values. This is just a repeat of what we're looking at. Silver added to its flavor is definitely up. And like I said, that's just because the markets took a little bit of a hit. Well, they plummeted down today. So this makes gold and silver rise, palladium, copper, be able to showcase for themselves. Looking into Bitcoin, you can see where the cryptocurrencies are definitely down into its useful factors. They have definitely crossed its boundaries of, but have no fear. Hodl yourself. you will definitely know where your screensavers are to be able to save in this Notion. Okay, guys, listen, I can go on and on and on. I'm going to continue on talking about this for stocks. I just wanted to deliver the message of today because we took such a huge crash in the stock markets from yesterday. And I hope I've given you a little bit of information. Do your own read and research. I'm Peggy as your crypto guy, but I'm also Global Pegs to be able to share with you what's going on globally and what the hell is happening out there. I hope you guys stay tuned with me and dingle my bell here on YouTube, as well as watch me on Facebook, Instagram, and Telegram. I'm happy to share with you guys, even on a personal note. Reach out to me. I'm happy to diverse it with you. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. And if I don't have the answers to them, I will find it for you. You guys have a fabulous evening, and I will see you guys very soon. Take care now.